Dundalk Middle School. This is Kara.
Ed D from
Bringing you your morning announcements.
On WDMS News.
Today is Thursday, March 9th, 2017, B-Day, Today in History.
Here's a look at this day in history. March 9th.
In 1796, French General Napoleon Bonaparte married the beautiful Josephine, widow of the Vicomte de Beauharnais. On this day in 1975, construction teams began work on the Alaskan oil pipeline.
Good luck on this important new assignment.
In 1990 on this day, Dr. Antonia Novello made history when she became both the first woman and first Hispanic to be sworn in as Surgeon General. And on this day in 1959, Barbie got dolled up for her debut at the American International Toy Fair. Her exaggerated female proportions really turned heads. She was the first grown-up doll marketed to youngsters. She's enjoyed many careers, each one keeping her on her toes. And that's this day in history.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the DMS Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I am safe, I am respectful,
And I am
responsible at Dundalk Middle School.
and in my community. Please be seated.
Let's go to the newsroom to check on the weather and sports.
It was 41 degrees this morning. It will be partly cloudy today, which reach a high of 64 degrees. Here's what's remaining of the week. Now for the sports report. Today at 4 o'clock, the NFL season officially begins. Teams may begin signing free agents. The Ravens are reportedly losing Rick Wagner to the Detroit Lions and Kyle Juszczyk to the San Francisco 49ers. The Ravens have also cut Elvis Dumervil. I'll keep you up to date as the Ravens add more players to their roster. Here's what's happening around the world.
I'm Zach Troy. Here's this week's Global Wrap. Drought conditions are spreading throughout northeast Africa. That is the part of the continent known as the Horn of Africa. Last Friday, the government of Somalia proclaimed a drought emergency. Over half of Somalia's 12 million people are suffering from drought-caused famine.
I've been told today that 110 people have been killed by drought in the past 48 hours.
A United Nations official in drought-impacted Kenya called for help.
We have at a simultaneous time, 4 potential famines. It is important to sound the alarm early in order to try and avoid the worst.
On Tuesday, WikiLeaks, the international anti-secrecy organization, released thousands of what it said were classified CIA files. The material reportedly describes secret CIA software that can hack data from cell phones, computers, and internet-connected televisions. On Monday night, a protest outside the White House greeted President Trump's new limitation on travel to the United States. The president signed an executive order imposing a 90-day ban on citizens from 6 Muslim-majority nations entering the country.
This order is part of our ongoing efforts to eliminate vulnerabilities that radical Islamist terrorists can and will exploit for destructive ends.
Possible Trump campaign ties to the Russian government remained a major story last week. On Thursday, Attorney General Jeff Sessions said he would recuse himself. That's legal talk for not getting involved in any Justice Department investigation of Russian efforts to influence last year's election.
I have recused myself in the matters that deal with the Trump campaign.
The Attorney General's decision came after the Washington Post reported that while working on the Trump campaign, Sessions had met with the Russian ambassador twice last fall. That contradicted what he said in his Senate confirmation hearing in January.
I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
President Trump on Saturday shifted attention away from the Attorney General. In a series of tweets, he accused former President Obama of wiretapping him during last fall's campaign. Terrible. Just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism. How low has President Obama gone to tap my phones during the very sacred election process? This is Nixon, Watergate, bad or sick guy. Former President Obama released a statement rejecting President Trump's charges. The White House has not provided any evidence supporting the current president's charges against the former president, which surfaced last week in the right-wing press. North Korean television showed the launch of 4 missiles last week that reached ocean territory claimed by Japan. North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, was on hand to supervise the missile test that set off alarms throughout Southeast Asia. North Korea said the missile test proved it could strike U.S. military bases in Japan. In a coincidence, an American missile defense system opposed by China and Russia arrived in South Korea last week. In Alaska, dog teams set off on a race across the state. The annual Iditarod race covers over 900 miles through often harsh winter conditions. The race commemorates the 1925 Mercy Run. That's when dog teams and their drivers, known as mushers, traveled through blizzards to deliver emergency medical vaccines from Seward, Alaska to Nome. Balto, the lead dog of the Mercy Run sled that reached Nome, was immortalized with a statue in New York City's Central Park. I'm Zach Troy. Check in next week for the latest global wrap.
The DMS yearbook staff are looking for your selfies, baby pictures, and personal quotes for this year's yearbook. They may be given to Miss Bullock in room 106 or submitted at dundalkyearbook@gmail.com. All submissions are due by March 17th. You can still order a yearbook. Forms can be found in room 106 or the main office. You can also order online at ybpay.lifetouch.com. Use 106-8117 as your code. All orders must be placed by April 3rd.
The PBIS Hoot Cart will be open every Wednesday during the lunch shift. Bring your hoots to redeem them for cool Hoot merchandise. The Hoot Cart will open 7 minutes into lunch and close within the last 7 minutes of lunch.
Attention students, stop by our library to check out this year's Black Eyed Susan nominated books. If you read 3 or more of them by the end of March, you will be invited to a pizza party in the library. Student Council is sponsoring Pennies for Patients, which is a foundation that helps kids with leukemia. They are trying to raise $500 to help. Please join in their efforts.
Track and field begins March 14th. If you are interested, pick up the required forms from Mr. Monaco in room 302. All of the completed forms will need to be turned into Mr. Monaco or Miss Davis prior to March 14th. If you still need a physical for spring sports, please see our school nurse to get Dundalk Wellness Care forms.
There will be a tennis interest meeting today from 3 until 4 p.m. in room 100. Please see Miss Williams or Mr. Kirby before the meeting to get the necessary paperwork.
DMS is having a stream night, which stands for Science, Technology, Reading, Engineering, Art, and Math based on the historic Francis Scott Key Bridge. It will be held Wednesday, March 15th. Dinner will be served at 6 p.m. The student activities will be held from 6:30 until 8 p.m. Please RSVP by March 13th in the main office to Ms. Murphy.
Good morning, Dundalk Middle School. This is Ephraim with a few words of wisdom. At some point in our lives, most of us will ask the question, what's life all about? Why am I here? Probably the most accepted answer to that question would be this. We are here to contribute to the world in some positive way, to make the world a little bit better. That's why every life is important. Every human being holds the possibility for doing something wonderful in the world. Charles Allen says it this way. Remember that you are needed. There is at least one important work to be done that will not be done unless you do it. Today, keep in mind that we need you, that the world needs the absolutely unique and unrepeatable contribution that only you can make. With something to think about, this is Ephraim. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours. Now here's Mr. Barish.
Good morning, Team DMS. Hopefully everyone is back and better than ever. I want to remind students as we continue moving forward during the third quarter, it is extremely important that you are checking in with your teachers, checking in on BCPS 1 to determine if there's any outstanding